everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of Wizard Weekly, where we bring you news and humor from around the spiral. But let's head into the real world for a bit, where Wizard 101 took home the Online Audience Choice Award in the 2011 Game Developers Choice Online Awards, winning over League of Legends with over 175,000 votes. Congratulations to KingsIsle for winning this award, and let's hope there's many more to come. Back inside the spiral, the Halloween festivities have gone into full swing with contests and parties all over the place. The Mercenaries for Hire Central Group are getting into the holiday spirit with a monster mash of epic proportions, dedicating an entire weekend to farming the towers. Saturday the 22nd and Sunday the 23rd, they'll be organizing tower farming parties so you can get your epic Halloween loot. There's more information on the M4H Halloween link below. They're not the only ones getting their ghoulish groove on, though. Anthony Deathbane and Jacob Redblade will be hosting a Halloween extreme event of their own with 3 events, one of which happens to be their enormous maze spanning 5 houses. With 10,000 crowns and hundreds of guest spots to fill, you'd be crazy not to at least check it out via the maze link below. The Head of Your Class PvP tournament is getting underway and looking for more competitors, so if you think you've got what it takes, head on over to the PvP area and sign up. Other than that, there really isn't that much going on in the arenas, so let's skip on over to the massive fantasy palace of Miss Scarlet's Soultamer. She puts a lot of effort into making her homes look realistic, and was just putting the finishing touches on a renovation when I arrived. When she first bought her massive fantasy palace, it was a bit of a fixer-upper, with walls crumbling and towers tumbling, but she really turned it around. She even has a park around a brilliantly decorated fountain where her pets romp and play. There's an area set aside for a romantic picnic for 2 with a majestic wyvern chaperone just to keep an eye on things. If you're not into all that lovey-dovey stuff, but you still want to spend a night under the stars, there's a small camp on the other side of the castle, where you can chicken chase or just enjoy a campfire circle. You can also go diving for crabs at her little scuba booth, where her most recent catch sits on the shore. What the heck is she feeding these things? Inside her fortress walls, you'd think you'd be safe, but as you enter her arena, you begin to wonder. You can battle your way to fame here under the watchful gaze of her collection of statues. Your matches are posted on a board to the side, and should you reign victorious, any one of these trophies could be yours for the taking. Whether you've been knocked out of the ranks or are just waiting for your match, you can relax inside, where Miss Scarlet has set up a cozy lounge for her guests. Everything is not as it seems, though, as you sneak behind a hidden panel into a hallway to Scarlet's secret bedroom, where some mysterious remains lounge on her bed. That's what you get for telling someone that their dress does make their butt look big, I guess. Let's head on into the dining room with a buffet set out for friends and competitors, where light music plays and where a tantalizing dessert is set out ready to serve, after you've finished your greens. There's a small reading room to the side where you can relax afterwards, or you can sneak into her food stores to snitch a second helping, though, I warn you, unpleasant things happen to those she catches down in the kitchen. After dinner, you can head to the bar and game room to socialize or just quaff a coffee after a long match. If you're in need of inspiration, courage, or just some time for quiet reflection, there's a beautiful chapel set away from the rest of the house. Away from it all is Miss Scarlet's hidden picnic area, where she can escape the hustle and bustle and enjoy the view of her castle from afar. Miss Scarlet's attention to detail really makes her home warm and welcome, but at the same time it adds a sense of mystery as well. Hidden panels, skeletons in bed, and a dungeon for pie pilferers really makes you wonder if there's a little more than sugar, spice, and everything nice to this week's host. So I know I told you guys this week I'd show you how to sync other items from below, and there was a problem. I just could not get it working. So instead of subjecting you guys to 2 minutes of me muttering death threats at my computer screen, I think I'll try and figure it out this week, and we can move on to letters from the spiral. Alright, so our first question this week comes in from the inner child of Atom Rocks 224, who wrote in to ask, do you think KingsIsle will ever make Wizard 101 themed toys for kids, like a plush Ninja Pig? It won't be for a while, but I'm pretty sure we'll see Wizard 101 novelties available in the real world in the future. Wizard 101's cartoonishness is part of its charm, and there's some really great candidates amongst the many creations of the spiral for novelty items. You could have a Humongo Frog coin purse or backpack, maybe a Firecat nightlight, or, you know, a light-up decoration for those big kids out there. Even the Ninja Pig plushie you mentioned would be a fantastic idea. The possibilities are endless. Getting these things made, though, is a complicated and very expensive process, and KingsIsle has a lot to consider before they go out and make these creations. After they hire someone to draft a pattern for it, hire someone else to make it, and hire someone else to handle shipping and marketing, and then they pay a certain amount to have it made, will people buy it? Will it pay for itself in the long run? And more importantly, will the items stay popular, or will they just die out after the craze like Neopets and Furbies did? They have a lot of questions to ask themselves and a lot of possibilities to consider before they go ahead and make these creations, but I'm pretty certain that we'll see some Wizard 101 toys out there at some point. Though I'm pretty sure this is going to get me flunked on my Tower Shield test, I think Professor Grey Rose would make an ideal candidate for a pillow. Just saying. Chris Moonblood must be saving up for that Ninja Pig plushie because he asked, do you think KingsIsle will ever have a system where you can do surveys or offers to earn crowns? I'm almost positive we'll never ever see anything like this, because while you can subscribe to Wizard 101, it seems they get most of their money from microtransactions, you know, the things you buy here and there with crowns. KingsIsle doesn't need us to look at offers or advertisements for crowns when they could just make more money from us buying the crowns. Offers and advertisements also tend to ask for personal information just so people can't abuse them and take off with a bajillion crowns from having done one survey over and over again. This is information that KingsIsle doesn't want on the internet because their age demographic is set very low, and the last thing they want is these young wizards putting their house addresses and phone numbers out there on the internet. KingsIsle also keeps things mostly advertisement free as a courtesy to their players. They could pull in an extra nickel and dime to help pay for hosting costs by running advertisements on their site, but if you go to the official Wizard 101 website, you won't find any that aren't directly related to the game itself. Between losing money on something like this and their anti-advertising stance, I don't think we'll ever see a fill in the survey and get crowns promotion from KingsIsle. The Master of Myth wrote in with our next question, do you think we'll ever be able to craft Mega Snacks? Nope. We can farm Mega Snacks from dungeons, or we can literally farm them from gardening, and some of the plants that yield pet snacks aren't even crowns only, so whether we realize it or not, we've kind of been spoiled when it comes to Mega Snacks. If you're into crafting, there are some pretty awesome pet snacks out there that aren't really hard to make, and I've yet to run into a pet that doesn't at least like Ambrose cereal. Mega Snacks were also never meant to be pivotal to the pet leveling process. KingsIsle presented us with the challenge of pet rearing, and people who make it sound like Mega Snacks ought to be mandatory they're actually just kind of being impatient. I don't really blame them. There's only so many times you can do the dance or the maze games before you go bananas, but the Mega Snacks aren't, you know, the only snacks out there. They're not the only method of leveling a pet quickly. If you're in a hurry to get your pet to a higher level, take a look at the bazaar for some high-ranking pet snacks that aren't necessarily megas, and maybe instead of paying 2,000 something crowns on a mega snack pack that's only going to last you a few games, you can buy some extra energy instead and just continue leveling your pet that day. Our last question this week comes in from Jacob Redblade, who you may remember me mentioning in our news segment. He asks, what do you think of Anthony Deathbane's maze? This being a kid's show and all, I don't think I should say, but I spent just over 2 hours stuck inside that thing, and let me tell you, it's pretty tough. By the time I reached the spiral cup at the end of the maze, I was practically foaming at the mouth, and for those of you who want to see me ranting to myself throughout the whole thing, fret not. It'll be in Better Homes and Gardens next week. Well, not all of it, more like 5 minutes of it. My lower eyelid just seriously twitched at the thought of having to relive those 2 hours, so... yeah. Right, that's all for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week for some amazing madness. Happy weekend, everybody! They will be organizing tower farming parties, so you can get your Away from it all is Miss Scarlet's hidden picnic area, where she can... escape... King's Isle does need us to look at King's Isle doesn't need us to look. Doesn't. Mega Snacks were also never meant to be pivotal to the level... And here I thought I was done with tongue twisters. Pivotal to the pet leveling process. Ha!